Hello, welcome to English First Additional Language. This is Second Chance Matric, and I'm Janet, and this is Tandeka, and we're going to be working through what paper 1 involves. Tandeka, over to you.
So let's take a look at what you can expect with paper 1. So these exam papers give you practice in answering questions on the 3 sections of the exam. Firstly, we've got an example here from the 2016 November exam, and the following were tested. So advertising was tested, target market, where the advert takes place, claims by the advertiser, visual clues, and you'd have to discuss the effectiveness of the advert as well as the techniques. These are the visual and verbal techniques. So you would need to know this for the advertising section. And you also get tested on the language structures. So for example, looking at words such as there and there, knowing when to remove a contraction, knowing the difference between the two words. Apostrophes, so for example with the word it's, the difference between prioritize and priority, which looks at your understanding of the different parts of speech and the word forms. Save versus safe, so common errors that are made, you would need to be able to edit that and understand what the difference is. So you have your editing section, then vocabulary is also tested. So for example, if we look at words with 2 meanings, which are also known as puns, so a pun on starter was, so this was...
Yeah, starter, do you remember, was the starter motor of the lawnmower, yeah.
And you also, they were tested on idioms, and these are the things that we go through as we look at the paper, and it's what you can expect. The language structures, so the use of the ellipsis was tested, tag questions, the gerund, the tone, so is the tone calm or appropriate for what is happening, and collective nouns for a bunch of books.
Yeah, you remember that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and more on the language structure. So you had to rewrite in the active voice. So for example, the lawnmower is broken. You needed to understand the simple tense, or rather simple sentence, rewrite as a question. So you'd have to rewrite a statement and make it a question. We had antonyms. What was the antonym for important? Tenses were also tested there. So these are basically the language structures that came up in the past paper, but if you practice, then you're able to familiarize yourself with the kinds of questions that come up. So when you work through the paper, you get examples of the kinds of questions asked, as I've just said, and you notice how much examiners manage to cover in one exam. And by practicing as many past exam papers as possible, you're then able to cover a lot of the language syllabus, which is very important, really. So don't forget, guys, the importance of practicing. We really emphasize the importance of practicing both through as we do the walkthrough, and now again we want to bring it up because if you practice, then you know more, right? So practice the reading and understanding of non-literary texts. So for example, the comprehension and the summary sections. Do as many examples of these sections as you can. For each exam session, focus on doing your best work. So don't get lazy as you're going through the paper. Treat it like an exam and take the full time that is given. Mark your exams using facilitated marking guidelines and the video walkthroughs. So also a very important note, guys, is doing past papers gives you a very good idea of how you will achieve your final exam. So you do the paper, you check the memo, because memos are also available, and then you are able to see how much you actually know, what it is that you need to improve on. So also it's also important to look at the marking guidelines, because they give you insight into how the examiners think and what they're looking for.
Right, so we do 2 past papers. We did 2015 and 2016, and it's divided into comprehension, summary, and language. And as Tandeka showed you, they actually cram quite a lot in. So what is good about doing past papers is you can practice the most commonly asked language skills and the types of questions that the examiners like to set. So if you work through those papers with us, I mean, we go through it in a lot of detail, then I'm sure you'll feel really confident about writing that paper.
Yes.
Right, so from us, bye-bye.